want to stay, that's fine. But the people have to know. And politicians can't be afraid to take them on. A politician that hears somebody where we're at war with Al-Qaeda and sees somebody talking about how great Al-Qaeda is, pick out her statement. That was Omar. How great Al-Qaeda is. When you hear that, and we're losing great soldiers to Al-Qaeda. When you see the World Trade Center gets knocked down, and you see the statements made about the World Trade Center.
Throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now.
all the death and destruction. I'll tell you what, I'm not happy with them. And it's very easy to be say, oh, gee, well, it's okay. If weak politicians want to say, and the Democrats in this case, if they want to gear their wagons around these four people, I think they're going to have a very tough election, because I don't think the people of the United States will stand for it.
Mr. President,
John, go ahead. Go ahead, John. Go ahead.
Does it concern you that tweet was seen as racist? Lindsey Graham said, encouraged you to aim higher, and does it trouble you?
He didn't say about that. He just said, don't go. See, I disagree with Lindsey. These are congressmen. What am I supposed to do? Just wait for senators? No. These are four. So I disagree with Lindsey on that. That was the only thing. He said, aim higher, shoot higher. What am I going to do? Wait till we get somebody else in a higher position, a higher office? These are people that hate our country. Hey, John, They hate our country. They hate it, I think, with a passion. Now, it's possible I'm wrong. The voter will decide. But when I hear the way they talk about our country, when I hear the anti-Semitic language they use, when I hear the hatred they have for Israel, and the love they have for enemies like Al-Qaeda, then you know what? I will tell you that I do not believe this is good for the Democrat Party. Certainly, it's not the party that I've known over the years.
They're U.S. citizens. Mr. President, where should they go president?
Does it concern you that many people saw that tweet as racist and that white nationalist groups are finding common cause with you on that point?
It doesn't concern me because many people agree with me. And all I'm saying, they want to leave, they can leave. Now, it doesn't say leave forever. It says leave if you want. But
upon a time they was truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution now. was truth in journalism, where brave men and women gave voice to the voiceless. But then the corporations bought the journalist, poisoning the news that we are fed. With those tainted sources, all we ever ate was a steady diet of status quo. This hijacked narrative hid the truth of mass suffering, injustice, and corruption throughout our land. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. To expose this shift to oligarchy came a band of honest journalists. They left the studio and hit the streets to give the microphone back to the people. From sea to sea, the people were empowered to share their truth. Their voices no longer stifled, reclaimed their power. Join the media revolution.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How are y'all doing? As you can see, I got my my money green shades on today, cause we gonna follow the money. But before we get to anything, like that today, the first thing I want to do is this. Woo! Yeah! Woo! That's my that's my mouth making an applause sound. I tried. But yeah, 50,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Jordan's got something special planned for y'all tomorrow, but the man has bust his butt, so I was like, no, I'm going to give you the day off from live. And of course, he's not actually taking the day off. He's at a Bernie event right now. But, you know, it's good for him to not be doing this all the time and not sitting down with his health issues that he's going through and whatnot. Now I got a big story in regards of following the money, and we're gonna follow the money. But before we get to that, I want to just remind y'all to smash that like button, subscribe, become a member, because we can't break stories that are big like this without being funded. It costs money to spend time to do these things. Like I would love to do this for free, and God knows I would. I can't. I have to survive capitalism like the rest of us. And if this independent journalism is important, it's necessary. It's how we hold those in power accountable, and we gonna do some holding accountable today. I got my handy dandy bottle of centrist tears right here, because I'm gonna be sipping today, boy. But before we get to that, this happened, and I just want to get this out of the way, because me and Jordan 100% are in 100% agreement. Like, Trump tweets and Trump being a racist, it's like, I'm over it. Whatever, we knew, we been knowing. This ain't news to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not. It's not news. It's not interesting. None of that at all. Like, not remotely in any way, shape, or form is it interesting, news, or anything. But still, we gotta go ahead and we gotta cover this idiot. So let's just get Trump out the way, and then we'll get to this money. But first, y'all racist president. Here you go.
Wow, that's a lot of press. Look.
What were you talking about in your tweet about going back to their home?
Well, I don't.
Hold on, I'm gonna fix that real quick. I don't want y'all to look at it in the little corner of the screen, so give me just a second here. Boom. Ding, fries are done. All right, let's try that one more time.
Wow, that's a lot of press. Look.
What were you talking about in your tweet about going back to their home?
Well, I didn't mention names, and I didn't do that. But I will tell you, with our country, and I think everybody in this audience, these are great manufacturers, great workers in our audience too. They brought a lot of their workers here. If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. And that's what I say all the time. That's what I said in a tweet, which I guess some people think is controversial. A lot of people love it, by the way. A lot of people love it. But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
But these are American products.
Well, that's just a very racist statement, somebody that would say that. So Speaker Pelosi said, "Make America white again." Let me tell you, that's a very racist statement. I'm surprised she'd say that. John, go ahead. Well, they're very unhappy. I'm watching them. All they do is complain. So all I'm saying is, if they want to leave, they can leave, John. They can leave. I mean, I look at Omar. I don't know. I never met her. I hear the way she talks about Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda has killed many Americans. She said you can hold your chest out when I think of America, when I think of Al-Qaeda, I can hold my chest out. When she talked about the World Trade Center being knocked down, some people, you remember the famous some people. These are people that, in my opinion, hate our country. Now, you can say what you want, but get a list of all of the statements they've made. And all I'm saying that if they're not happy here, they can leave. They can leave. And you know what? I'm sure that there'll be many people that won't miss them.
But they're American citizens.
But they have to love our country. They're Congress people, and I never used any names.
Are you
but
okay
these are
with
people
thinking your tweets are racist, Mr. President?
Quiet.
Are you okay with people thinking your tweets are racist, sir?
Quiet. These
I'm
are
asking a
people
question,
that
sir.
if they don't like it here, they can leave. And I don't know who's going to miss them, but I guess some people will. One of them is polling at 8%. One of them is polling at 8%.
Are you
One of them
okay
is
with
polling
that,
at
sir, being
8%.
called racist?
So when I hear people speaking about how wonderful Al-Qaeda is, when I hear people talking about some people with the World Trade Center, some people, no, not some people, much more than some people. When I hear the statements that they've made, and in one case you have somebody that comes from Somalia, which is a failed government, a failed state, who left Somalia, who ultimately came here, and now is a congresswoman who's never happy, says horrible things about Israel, hates Jews, hates Jews. It's very simple. And if the Democrats want to wrap their bows around this group of 4 people, one of them kept Amazon out of New York, tens of thousands of jobs, would have been a great thing. And she kept Amazon from going, would have been a good deal. I mean, could he have made better? Maybe. But tens of thousands of jobs. And New York has not been the same since that happened. It's really hurt New York and New York City. Amazon was going to go. They were going to relocate a major section of their business in New York. She kept them out. That was a terrible thing she did. A terrible thing she did. So here's the story. I see them complaining. They're complaining constantly. I watched Lindsey Graham today on Fox and Friends talking about
He says you went
the
too
same
far,
subject,
sir.
and frankly, even stronger than what I'm saying. He said they're
says you went too
communists.
far, Mr. President.
I'm saying that they're socialists, definitely. As to whether or not they're communists, I would think they might be. But this isn't what our country is about. Nevertheless, they're free to leave if they want. And if they want to leave, that's fine. And if they want to stay, that's fine. But the people have to know. And politicians can't be afraid to take them on. A politician that hears somebody where we're at war with Al-Qaeda and sees somebody talking about how great Al-Qaeda is, pick out her statement. That was Omar. How great Al-Qaeda is. When you hear that, and we're losing great soldiers to Al-Qaeda, when you see the World Trade Center gets knocked down, and you see the statements made about the World Trade Center, all the death and destruction, I'll tell you what, I'm not happy with them. And it's very easy to be say, oh, gee, well, it's okay. If weak politicians want to say, and the Democrats in this case, if they want to gear their wagons around these 4 people, I think they're going to have a very tough election, because I don't think the people of the United States will stand for it.
What do you mean the people Mr. President? Mr. President!
John, go ahead. Go ahead, John.
Let me see if I can sum up sort of what people are talking
Go ahead.
about. Does it concern you that tweet was seen as racist? Lindsey Graham said, encouraged you to aim higher, and does it trouble you?
No, he didn't say about that. He just said, don't go. See, I disagree with Lindsey. These are congressmen. What am I supposed to do? Just wait for senators? No. These are 4. So I disagree with Lindsey on that. That was the only thing. He said, aim higher, shoot higher. What am I going to do? Wait till we get somebody else in a higher position, a higher office? These are people that hate our country. Hey, John, they hate our country. They hate it, I think, with a passion. Now, it's possible I'm wrong. The voter will decide. But when I hear the way they talk about our country, when I hear the anti-Semitic language they use, when I hear the hatred they have for Israel, and the love they have for enemies like Al-Qaeda, then you know what? I will tell you that I do not believe this is good for the Democrat Party. Certainly, it's not the party that I've known over the years.
They're U.S. citizens. Mr. President, where should they? Mr. President, where should they?
Mr. President, does it concern you that many people saw that tweet as racist and that?
And I was muted. Let's try this again. Anyways, so yeah, Trump, I tried my best. I really gave it like my best shot. I gave it the good old college try. I could make it through that whole thing. At this point, anybody that says they want to work with this person or they want this person to succeed is admitting that they're okay with racism. Period. In any way, shape, or form. That is just, it's ridiculous. Let's take apart some of these points though. The first point I want to take apart is the Somalia point. So he says that that Ilhan Omar, speaking of her, she should go back to Somalia to take care of that country. That's what was tweeted. Now let's be honest. Who destroyed Somalia? I want to say it was America, but now we're kind of like taking advantage of the destruction. It was initially Europe, but still white supremacy, so whatever. But it initially, when Africa was colonized by Europe and Europe chopped it up into a bunch of pieces, Somalia was two colonies. It was a British colony on the west side, and on the east side, where the water was, where the Strait of Hormuz is, it was a Italian colony. And in the 60s or 50s, they had a referendum vote, and they decided to kick out the colonizers and have their own country. And it kind of oscillated between not really being a country and being anarchist, in that they didn't have an official government, but it was a bunch of tribes that worked together and they were doing fine. They weren't doing like super fantastic. It wasn't the best thing ever. But at the same time, it was more functional than a lot of other countries in the area. Now, of course, colonial interests did not like that, did not want to deal with that. So what happened was America and other capitalist countries were surrounding it and training armies in, I want to say, I know it was Djibouti, Eritrea, and I can't think of the third Kenya. I want to say it's Kenya. I could be wrong. Is the third country. So they were surrounded by capitalist countries, and they were an anarchist country. At heart, basically, they were effectively an anarchist country in that they had a bunch of tribes that was just kind of doing their own thing. So what they did was they made an alliance with the Soviets. And Cold War, it was the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and capitalism was not having that. They was like, oh, you trying to be with them Soviets? Oh, we're going to have to bust this whole thing up. Let's get to chopping right now. So warlords were paid off. And a lot of, basically, the Reader's Digest version is colonial interests broke it up. And then, to make it worse, after coming out of all that, we had in the 90s and the early 2000s, mostly in the 90s, late 80s, early 2000s, a lot of overfishing happened because there wasn't like a stringent government that was gonna enforce a lot of regulation and whatnot, because it was basically anarchist. And this is a problem that anarchist governments have. And what happened was it was destroyed. Their water was destroyed by wastewater was dumped. Nuclear waste was dumped in the water off the coast. Because it was just an efficient way. There was no regulation. It was an efficient way for capitalism to handle its business. Like, oh, word? Y'all ain't got no regulation? Oh, let me take all my nuclear waste and just dump it over here. They ain't gonna say nothing to me, no way. That's the way they work. They don't care. So that happened. And then on top of that, there was the overfishing. And then on top of the overfishing, a tsunami happened and brought all that nuclear waste on land. So now you have, it's overfished, toxic water, and then the toxins have got on land because of the tsunami. So they have a drought and they can't get fish. And that's why we had all those Somali pirates back in the day, because they didn't have anything to eat. Because we destroyed their country. We did that. Well, we as in the developed West. It was, at that point, those companies were mostly British and American. But that's the best I can do from memory on that subject. Africa's kind of my thing as far as like foreign policy goes. And I did a lot of research on this like immediately as soon as Trump said that tweet. But then I had to cover this now. And I'm just like, this guy. But yeah, so there's that. And then he tried to attack AOC for the Amazon deal. And it's just like basic research with this dude. Every time you just do 5 seconds of research and you can see, oh, that's bull crap. But these folks, his supporters, operate on a different set of facts, and they operate on a whole different credo than us. They're like, no, I don't think you understand. We need to make sure white people stay in power because I ain't trying to lose this white privilege. This thing is good. This is good. Do you hear me? I know some of y'all are thinking that maybe the case might be that if we get these folks educated and economically give them a shot as well as other folks, that they'll get past this. But that's not how bigotry works. I'm sorry, y'all. Even if you look at the young patriots who joined with the young lords and them back in the day, the young lords and the Black Panthers and the young patriots, they were an anti-police brutality group, and they were very much anti-racist. Racism is in itself a whole thing that, sure, it operates in capitalism, but these people are they stupid and are they misinformed? Yes, but just because you give them money and give them an economic opportunity, that don't mean that everything's going to be fantastic for them and they're going to be like, oh, I don't have to be racist no more because I'm making as much money as the other guy and we'll be just fine together and this is a great community. I'm sorry, that's not. I wish that was how it worked. I wish it was that simple, but I grew up in Texas. I know for a fact that that's not how it works. It's just not. But going further, we had the issues with Pelosi before, with her leaving Ilhan Omar out to dry. And even though I'm finna get in her behind later in this live today, I'm gonna give her props because her response was actually halfway decent to his tweet this weekend. We're gonna see how she responds to this. But Nancy Pelosi, when she ain't got nothing to lose and it ain't gonna hurt her funders, she'll stand up and she'll support women of color. You'll see her support Ayanna Pressley when it don't hurt her donors. You'll see her stand up and support Rashida Tlaib when it don't hurt her donors. You'll see her stand up and support Ilhan Omar when it don't hurt her donors. Let it mess with her money, though. Let it mess with her donors' money, though. Let it mess with it. It's not going to be good, bruh. It's just not. She ain't going to do it. She ain't going to stand up because she doing what the money told her to do. That's Nancy Pelosi's number one claim to fame. And I need y'all to smash that like button. I need you to share this live. I'm teasing you. I'm holding off on the best story because I want as many people as possible to see this. I want this to be shared. I want it to be spread because I stayed up all night last night. I'm literally wearing the same shirt I was wearing yesterday, y'all. I'm not even kidding. This is not a game. I was up all night getting this story together. I recorded the video in advance already. And I text Jordan and I'm like, yo, I got this story. I think it's serious about Nancy Pelosi and where her money's coming from. And he's like, well, let me research it. And then he's like, no, you need to chop up that whole video you did. You need to do a new one. And I was like, well, fine, I'll just go live. You take the day off. And I'm telling you, Nancy Pelosi is something else, like really something else. But before we get to that, did you know that Joe Biden has a black friend named Obama? And that Obama created Obamacare. Did you know that? Joe Biden's got a new ad and he wants to tell you about it. Smash the like button, share, become a member to Status Quo. We just hit 50K. Thank you. Let's take a look at Joe Biden though real quick.
It was great being part of the first Democratic debate in Miami. The question was asked whether we support eliminating private health insurance. Some said yes, I said absolutely not. I believe we have to protect and build on Obamacare. That's why I proposed adding a public option to Obamacare as the best way to lower costs and cover everyone. I understand the appeal of Medicare for all, but folks supporting it should be clear that it means getting rid of Obamacare. And I'm not for that. I was very proud the day I stood there with Barack Obama and he signed that legislation. Never before had anyone ever been able to do that in the White House. 20 million Americans gained coverage, over 100.
Sorry, I'm trying to grab this thing. I'm getting better with OBS. I'm still new at it. Sorry. Let me just go and sip on these Centrist tears real quick. Let me get a sip of some of these. Ooh, them Centrist tears just hit different, y'all. They just hit different. So let's talk frank. Joe Biden is a goofball. He's just a goofy, period. That's the best way to put it. He is clearly incapable of reading the room. He can't. The man cannot read the room. He doesn't understand that he needs to at least fake like he likes Medicare for all right now. That's where the country is. Even Republicans, a plurality of Republicans are in favor of Medicare for all. That's where we at right now in this country. So you can talk all that centrist mess all you want to. Fill my cup up with some more centrist tears. Thank you. I appreciate it. They taste really good. But this is where we at. You ain't winning with I need to make Obamacare work. 30,000 people a year die from preventable diseases in the most wealthy country in the history of the planet. That's where we at. 30,000. I think it's 35,000 a year. And Joe Biden says he's gonna do the public option. Quit. Go home. You had your chance. Just quit. Go home. You had your chance. You had your chance. That was 2000 and 10 years ago. 2008, 2009, 2010. You had your chance, bruh. You had your chance. If you was going to do the public option, you should have been did it. It's over with. Go home, clean up, go home. Clean up and go home. Because, no. You had your chance. Your chance is come and gone. You did not do the public option. We know where your money come from. Your money come from the corporate interests. You're going to do exactly what they said. You're going out here talking to all these rich folks talking about your standard of living is not going to change. Joe Biden is such a goofy, y'all. He thinks that he can say these things and still have a shot. And it's early, so most people just genuinely don't care right now. They're just like, oh yeah, that's happening. We'll see what happens. I'm telling you, September, October, definitely November, that man won't even be top 5. He won't. He won't, because he's a goofy. He can't even perform a lie. Like, he can't. It's obvious that the vast majority of them are lying. We know that's the game. That's why the majority of people don't vote in this country, because they know that it's a joke. That these politicians do what they money tell them to do. They know that. Folks ain't stupid. They know. So Joe Biden doing his best to sit up here and act like it's something completely different, and you can just say what you want and be nice to the rich. It's not 1998 no more, my dude. It's just, I can't wait for like 6 months from now when the primary becomes the real primary, which will be Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and maybe Kamala Harris. And Bernie Sanders and Liz Warren are leading it. And can you imagine the deluge of just rich folk tears? Like, even, granted, Elizabeth Warren she's a centrist, kind of. She's a centrist with, she's like a diet centrist. And it's like, I guess I gotta have socialism because that's what the people want now. They want us to actually care about the poors. I mean, at least give me the Warren one. Give me the Warren one. I don't want the Sanders guy because he's gonna mess up my whole financial situation, and I can't have that. What your dude what is it, stop using the billionaire word? I actually used to work for that guy, by the way. I can't even think of his name right now. Just I wish I could remember his name. The dude that said stop using the billionaire word or I'm gonna take away your money. Klubeck, Stephen J. Klubeck. So, funny story. Just because I want to bag on billionaires right now, and bag on Joe Biden's bosses for a little bit while I got y'all here. The man played, it was required in the training when you work for Diamond Resorts International that you had to watch the episode of Horrible Bosses with Stephen J. Klubeck on it. Because they wanted you to know that was the guy you were working for. And then you got to the floor. And I was working in the call center for them. And it was like slave labor. You were treated like a child. You had to ask permission to go to the bathroom. You were supposed to be on the phone at all times. You could not talk to your neighbors at any point. Even if there was nothing going on, you had to sit there and it was hilarious to me. I'm such an awesome boss. I'm an amazing person. I did some nice things for 3 of my employees on a TV show for cameras. Now go make my money. Oh my goodness. I can't wait. I really can't wait till these folks realize that the poors have gotten class consciousness. Because that's what the political revolution is about. That's what it's been about the entire time. It's been about class consciousness. And Joe Biden does not read the room and cannot understand. These folks in Washington can't get it through their head that the working class has woken up or is waking up and realizes, hey, it's way more of us than it is of y'all. And if you don't run our money that we made for you, it's going to be some consequences, repercussions, and some furniture moving out here. That's what it is. But we're gonna go and move on to the big story, and I'm gonna put on my glasses, my green shades, you heard me. And I'm gonna read to you some interesting stuff. We're gonna go through, and I'm writing a whole piece on this. And I actually, I'm writing a whole piece on this, so I'm gonna have full details later. But for right now, we're just gonna talk about Nancy Pelosi and dabble into Beto O'Rourke and ICE. So, the whole time, all of this fighting between Nancy Pelosi and AOC and the squad, as they call them, I actually like that name. Them ladies are squad goals. If we keep it at 1,000, like, I wish I could roll up with my squad and it just be like that. I wish my squad had it like that. That's just being objective. I just wish my squad had it how they squad had it, because it's four of them. You heard me? Four of them. And they got the centrists with all of the power. They only have 4 votes. The centrists with all power are scolding them and are fighting them. Think about how shook they have to be for these folks to have 4 votes. Well, really 5, because Ro Khanna. And they so shook that they gotta attack them at every turn. You know why? Well, we're gonna talk about why. But I wanna break it down one step at a time before we get to the reason I got these glasses on. We're gonna go through all the way back. We're gonna start from the beginning. So, if you remember, when we go back to 2016, when this so-called political revolution started with the Bernie Sanders campaign, the main point has consistently the point has been, do you think these companies and these literal investment bankers are giving politicians money and not expecting a return on their investment? That has been the point. From day one, that has been the point. And we had even more so we had the rift where in 2016 there was the issue of the primary, and let's just be honest, it was rigged. That's multiple people said that. Elizabeth Warren said that and then walked it back. Donna Brazile gave up a question and then wrote a whole book about it, and then seemingly got back in the donor class's good graces and is working with them again. But yeah, like, even the DNC lawsuit, we know at this point. I'm not going to rehash all of that, but that has been the number one thing. So fast forward to 2018, we have the squad getting into office, and they come in on the winds of that through the organizations that were birthed out of 2016, being Our Revolution and Brand New Congress and Justice Democrats. Now, I'm giving all this backstory in case I know the vast majority of you understand all of this, but there may be somebody coming in not understanding this. So I just want to make sure that I give full context, because what we're breaking here today is big, very big. So we had the issue with Ilhan Omar, and her being being left hanging when she was threatened by the president. Basically, he set her up for death threats with the 9/11 out of context little video he made and put up, and has continued to attack her. And we saw an extension of that today. So remember, Nancy Pelosi left her hanging when that happened because of her donors. Chuck Schumer left her hanging on that because of his donors. She was calling out AIPAC. Both of them went, remember? Now let's go a little further to Rashida Tlaib. Now, Rashida Tlaib, when she got in, she said, impeach the motherfucker. That's the quote. I'm quoting what she said. That's what she said. Nancy Pelosi said, I don't think that's the right word usage, but Donald Trump has said, what did she say? It's nothing worse than what Donald Trump said, which again, weak sauce response. It's kind of ticky-tack to hit her on this, but I'm trying to illustrate a point to y'all. It is consistently and the entire time, at any chance she gets, she's pecking at them. Why is she pecking at them? Because they're not bought like she is. They ain't got the same green glasses on she got. They out here like this. Nancy out here like this. Oh, it worked for the money? I didn't. I could do that. I got my, you know what I'm saying? I see the money. I see what I'm doing. They out here like, oh, that's messed up. Word? ICE is out here really like that? Abolish ICE. Now, Nancy Pelosi's position on ICE has been, quote, I think the focus should be on President Trump's hardline immigration policies and not on ICE. She has also called for an immediate and fundamental overhaul in 2018. Chuck Schumer said the agency does things that are very much needed. And then, of course, there was the comments this past weekend before Trump went full racist and they had to defend them from racism. But, like, they was fighting. And Nancy started it. And she said, y'all don't understand math. You got 4 votes. We got the rest. But if they only got 4 votes and you got the rest, why you got to say something? Why it got to be a big deal in the media? That's the question you need to be asking. Why does it have to be such a big deal? If they only got 4 votes, they're irrelevant. They don't matter. Oh, they got all the energy. They got the people with them. They got 4 votes in Congress, but they got the rest of the people. That's what they got. And that's the problem for you. That is your problem. These folks are shook. Do you hear me? They are shook. This has been and continues to be class struggle, and I'm going to prove it to you. All of the attacks that they keep coming at these women of color with are always elitist attacks because that's all they have. It's the same. They talk to the squad the same way a manager talks to a fry cook. I'm dead serious. Like, we've all worked in these terrible positions and dealt with a manager or a corporate office manager that come down and talk to you like you stupid. Like, they just so much better than you because of class privilege. That's what this is. That's what it has been. That's what it continues to be. This is class struggle. We're watching the Congress version of it because these folks have hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions and billions of dollars coming from a small amount of people. And that small amount of people is tilting the scales as much as they can to protect themselves from the masses that are coming for them. Do you hear me? Folks is hungry. They scared of this movement. And why are they scared? Because they know the truth will be revealed very easily. And we about to let's go and reveal that truth. Let's just talk about Nancy Pelosi real quick. So Nancy consistently, and I'm looking at a spreadsheet that I'm going to post in a written piece that I'll be sharing with y'all later. She consistently says families belong together and Trump's immigration policies are terrible. She stays hard on that. But she gave Trump $4.6 billion for ICE. ICE has been separating families for a year. They're doing raids right now. She called for stop the raids, which, again, not hard to do. You're calling to stop an equivalent to the Nazi Gestapo. Like, of course, no brainer. However, Nancy has not at any point called for an abolition of ICE. Now, remember, ICE was started in 2003. ICE is 16. ICE got his driver's license and drove off a cliff. Abolished that mug, like straight up. Now, that's the temperature of the country. That is the temperature of the country. The only folks that aren't saying abolish ICE are folks who get money from the companies profiting off of ICE. Let's talk about those companies. Dell, Motorola Solutions, Microsoft, HP, Comcast, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Lockheed Martin, all of them combined in the last 20 years have given Nancy Pelosi $410,286 in the past 20 years. They have invested in her. Do you hear me? HP got a $76 million contract with ICE. They gave Nancy Pelosi $18,650. She's paid to keep them alive. Do not play with me right now. So when these women of color stand up for other women of color, because that's who the main ones hurt by this, when they stand up for other women of color, Nancy Pelosi is not there. She's nowhere to be found. You cannot find her. Send out a search party. Where's she at? Not there. Not on the front lines. Not fighting for women of color because it'll hurt her donors. Nancy Pelosi will stand up for women of color. And don't get it twisted. She's not a Trump racist. Nancy Pelosi is what we call a diet racist. She is, and she's an institutional racist. Her institutional policies that she is paid to do, that she's paid to put out there, have caused these concentration camps. You saw the videos this weekend of 60, 70 people in a room. They don't turn the lights off at night. And and somebody need to get on the line with these companies too. I sent an email to Nancy Pelosi's press secretary. I've yet to hear back. I gave him like 3-4 hours to get at me. They ain't said nothing. Let's go down the list though. It's not a game. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Nancy Pelosi is a horrible person and she's done. No. She just corrupted. And at the same time, I feel bad for these folks because they watched McGovern happen. And I'm sure they believe that if we be bold and we fight the power, we can win. They took the L and they gave up for the rest of their life. I'm sorry, no. It's a new generation. Get out the way. You want to be corrupt? Go home. That's not what's happening anymore with this. And there are, because I really don't want to be so hard on Nancy like this. She is the first woman, or she's the most powerful woman in the history of this country. Like, that's important. That deserves recognition. But at the same time, she white feminist as hell. Susan B. Anthony would be so proud of you the way you leaving behind women of color. She would be so proud of you because you following in her footsteps, Nancy. I'm not saying this because I want to dunk on Nancy Pelosi. I want her to do better. She shouldn't be doing this. You want to stand with women of color? Stand with women of color. Do it. Do it when you got to put your privilege to the side. That's when Nancy Pelosi needs to do it, and she's not. Let's go down the list. Dell, $14,441 from Dell in the last 20 years. They got $22 million worth of contracts with ICE. Motorola Solutions, $12,500 in the last 15 years or 20 years. They have $15 million in active contracts with ICE, and all of that money came since the 2008 cycle, so that 12,000 is actually in the last 10 years, 9 years really. Microsoft. Now Microsoft's tricky because we don't have the actual funds that they raise, but we do have, and I want to do a disclaimer because let me stop what I'm doing right now. Let me do the disclaimer because what they're going to do is they're going to try to say, well, those companies didn't give that money. It was people that worked for those companies. And that's how this works. Don't play with me. The people that donate this much money are people that own the companies. Companies themselves are legal fictions. That's what they are. That's all they are. That's all they've ever been is legal fictions. They're made up companies. They're made up legal fictions so people can make money. The people behind the company are the ones donating this. The people that make the money off the company are the ones donating off this. It's not the janitor who's getting robbed for his labor, for the production of his labor. The janitor don't do this. The video editor at Comcast he ain't donating that much money. Goldman Sachs owns a large portion. I believe they're second or third largest shareholder in Core Civic. $267 $53,267 to Nancy Pelosi in the last 20 years. That's Goldman Sachs. Now, to the big one. Lockheed Martin. $76,219. For what do you get from Nancy Pelosi for $76,219? You get $664,695,851 in CPB contracts since 2010. That's what you get for Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is exactly right. She is the best fundraiser the Democrats have. She's also the most corrupt one of them. She is the problem. Don't be the problem no more, Nancy. Do something better. Now, if you remember, your boy Beto O'Rourke got his butt towed up by Julian Castro in the first debate. And it was on the subject of immigration. And I just had a feeling, I was like, let me just look at Beto and see. Because the names Jordan assigned to me to look at, because he was like, when I first came up with this, I was just looking at Nancy and Chuck Schumer, and Jordan was like, nah, look at the presidential candidates too. Let's see what else we can find. I would not have been able to pull this off without Jordan's guidance. So big props to Jordan. Take your day off, bro. You deserve it, even though you at the Bernie rally right now. So, Beto O'Rourke, just his 2020 presidential campaign, these companies, Dell, Motorola Solutions, Microsoft, HP, Amazon, Comcast, Wells Fargo, Goldman Sachs, Lockheed Martin. Well, actually, Lockheed Martin and Wells Fargo didn't give him any money, but the rest of them gave him a combined $304,686 for his presidential campaign. But he's Beto, Robert Francis. Y'all better stop calling. Y'all better recognize that cultural appropriator when you see one. I'm telling you, terrible Spanish speaking self. He don't care. He will sell you out to ICE. That's what he doing. He took $304,686 from the people that are profiting off of them. Mr. Charles Schumer. Now remember, he threw Ilhan Omar all the way under the dang bus. Got $74,000 from Microsoft in the last 20 years. $56,624 from Comcast in the last 20 years. $17,000 from, hold on, I want to make sure I'm reading this right, Amazon in the last 20 years. All of these companies are benefiting and profiting off of ICE. And he's taking money from them. And Nancy's taking money from them. And Beto's taking money from them. And I'm not done. We gon' go and get. My computer running slow. Give me a second. It's skipping on me. We gonna go and get 12 herself. Kamala Harris. Microsoft, $23,000. Goldman Sachs, $7,550. $35,000 from Comcast. $19,000 from Wells Fargo. But she's staying with women of color. She's a woman of color. She's supposed to be backing up women of color. She's supposed to be representing women of color. You're taking their kids away from them. You are out here taking money and doing the bidding of the companies to take their kids from them. This is why they don't want to abolish ICE. Because they've been paid to keep it alive. Nancy, Chuck, you got some splaining to do. Some splaining. Serious splaining. Because this is ridiculous, y'all. It don't make no sense that y'all supposed to be the party for people of color. Y'all supposed to be the party to stand up against this mess. Y'all supposed to be the ones that's on the side of the marginalized. That's what you advertise and market yourself as. But when it come time to stand up, we see who you stand up for. How many babies separated from their parents? Nancy called for the separation policy to end. She had a chance to do something. She gave him $4.6 billion. I'm gonna sip on these liberal tears. Centrist tears. I want to cry my own for these families, but I'm just going to sip on these centrist tears while I expose their leaders. Y'all was the ones talking about Slay Nancy. Remember that ugly clap she was doing? She loved Trump, boy. What is you talking about? She loved Trump. She raising all type of money off of him. Trump just bailed her out completely for her racist nonsense she did to AOC and the way she threw the squad under the bus like that. The way she threw them under a bus? Like that? And then you get called to task for it and Trump just goes on a racist rant and you safe. And it's crazy because like the first thing before he even sent out them crazy tweets or acted a fool this morning was The first thing he said was Nancy Pelosi's not a racist. Nancy Pelosi's not a racist. If the most racist dude in the room says you're not a racist, you might got some work to do. I'm just going to keep it 100. That's what that is. If the most racist dude in the room says that you're not racist, you might got some work to do. But then he turned around this morning and called her racist for saying Trump's campaign is about make America white again. Like, she said a joke from 2015. I mean, like, that's a 4-year-old joke, bruh. Folks been saying that about you. And that's racist is all he's got to say. Like, he know he racist. He just turned it around. But she love him though, because it makes it easier for her to get that $410,286 and turn around and get Lockheed Martin $664,695,851 in contracts since 2010 with the CPB. The same Customs and Border Patrol, they got secret Facebook groups talking about they all types of disgusting racist policies and practices. It's 2019. The standards are higher. The stakes have never been higher. This mess that Nancy Pelosi is on, that Chuck Schumer is on, and this act that they're doing to try to act like AOC and them are the problem, like they're gonna stop you from putting an end to Donald Trump's nonsense, when every one of your actions says you love that man. Every one of your actions. I don't care about what you say. My grandmama always told me, don't watch what folks say, watch what they do. R.I.P. to Joey Babe. That's what we used to call my grandma, Joey Babe. I see you. But yeah, no, like, don't watch what people say. Watch what they do. And Nancy Pelosi took $410,000 over her career from these companies and turned around and gave ICE $4.6 billion. That's a fantastic return on investment, if you ask me. And all of them companies, they don't give you no money if it ain't gonna be a nice return on the investment. It's sick, y'all. It's the world we live in, where the profits from all these companies, blood money. Like, I'm sorry, I really tried not to say blood money this whole time. But how many kids done died in these camps? How many grown folks done died in these camps? They don't turn the lights off. They're piled 50, 60 people in a room. And Mike Pence just come through. Huh? But y'all want some blue dogs that's gonna work with them. That's what you want. You need to go for the people that's gonna work with these racists. That's what you want. That's what you need, the folks that's gonna work with them. That's what's important, the folks that's gonna work with Trump and work with the Republicans. When every time they turn around and beat the brakes off you, y'all get all this money, and I'm sorry, like, I don't want to say they're controlled opposition. I really don't want to call them controlled opposition. I don't. But how can you say anything else? AOC did the right thing in firing up Pelosi. She did the right thing, if you ask me. That's my opinion, though. That's like my opinion, man. But seriously, like that's not facts right there. But like, to me, she did the right thing. You're in a situation where you had a chance because they needed more money to hold stuff up and be like, nah, we ain't doing nothing until something changes. Till ICE is abolished, the camps are closed. At least end family separation. Like, you can at least do that. You say that all the time, Nancy. Every day she tweeting in the separation. You could have at least fought for that. Now, let me just go and give you this check for $4.6 billion. Give my folks that done ran me the money, they return on their investment. Nancy Pelosi operates on blood money. Look, I'm finna be late for my appointment. Oh, God, I'm mad late, but I had to go off today, y'all. I had to go off today. So I want to thank you guys so much. Like, share, subscribe, become a member. 50K, we did it. You did that. You did that. 50K, that's y'all. Because y'all the ones want to hear real news. Y'all the ones want to hear the stories. And as long as y'all want to hear it, I'm going to make sure that I get my hustle on and get the story to you. I have not slept. I'm not going to sleep. Honestly, I'm so fired up that I got this story that I'm finna take my kids to GameWorks today. And we gonna throw some skee ball, celebrate this 50K with the young hoop it up joint at the arcade. Maybe some Marvel vs. Capcom 2. You don't want to see me in that game. You really don't want to. It's not gonna be fair what I do to these babies in Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. Just please share. Please become a member. Because the mainstream media has cut out their investigative budget. What I did to get this story and the help Jordan gave me, if I worked at CNN, I would have been told don't follow the story. If I worked at MSNBC, I would have been told don't follow the story. I'm not even going to mention Fox News. Become a member. This story is only possible because of y'all. This story is only going to break and make it possible to call Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer out because of y'all. Because y'all make that happen. Otherwise, I'm just a dude screaming into a freaking camera and a computer. This is because of y'all. Thank you. 50K. We appreciate it. Hit the GoFundMe, subscribe, become a member, smash that like button. It's 229 of y'all liking, only 200 watching, only 210 likes. I need 19 more likes. Oh, we got one more. There we go. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. With y'all's help, I promise you, I'm gonna keep them honest. If these and don't get it twisted. That includes one Senator Bernie Sanders, too, which I didn't even say this because I didn't get a comment on him. But he took from one of the companies more money in 2016 than Nancy Pelosi has taken her entire career. And Bernie Sanders, y'all, still did a no vote. I have yet to receive a comment yet as to what his vote would be. But he still took all that and still did a no vote. Of course, it was 2016, and he took a lot more in small dollar donations from regular people like you and me. But he took their money and still said, nah, I ain't voting, I'm good. The finesse game of a one Mr. Bernie Sanders. I mean, I love it. But we'll see what the comment is on that. Thank you guys so much. I'm here to keep folks honest. I'm here to do real journalism. That's my passion. I would do this for free if I could, and I can't do it for free, but I can do it because of y'all. 50K. Smash that like button. Become a member. If you haven't subscribed and hit the bell, subscribe and hit the bell. I'm going to catch y'all later. Jordan's out at a Bernie Sanders event right now. So I'm sure he'll get some comment from folks because, I mean, he's at the campaign. So I'm sure he'll get some comment from folks while he's there. But thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. From me, the whole Status Crew team, Jordan, Jen, Ty, Colin, we appreciate y'all. Salute. Catch y'all